Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. In this video, I'll be trying to predict Samoa's side that will be going head to head with Fiji in the upcoming match of the Pacific Nations Cup. If you do enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Nonetheless, let's get straight into this video. Right, so some of you guys will already know that I have got a running series on the channel involving the All Blacks and trying to predict the lineup that they go with in each and every of their international fixtures. This one I decided I'd do something different and see whether or not I can predict Samoa's starting lineup and reserves for the upcoming last match of the Pacific Nations Cup. Now, it's a big match, taking on Fiji, and if Samoa are able to get themselves the win, they will win the Pacific Nations Cup. So it is a huge match, so we know that they will go with quite a strong lineup in this contest, and that is what we're going to be trying to predict. This game is 3:30 PM, taking place in Fiji, and hopefully all of these men that I pick are going to be match fit for that contest. Now, there might be some of them who are nursing injuries, and that is why this lineup may not be 100% accurate, but I'm hoping that it will be relatively close. Right, we will start with my front row. I have gone Aki Seoli at number 1. Number 2, I've given it to the man who got a hat-trick last week, Rainuia, as he was just on fire. That rolling maul of Samoa is really coming along nicely, and I think some of the reasoning for that is Rainuia, not just the accuracy for the line-out throw, but also being able to help glide it towards the try line. So he is my number 2, and then number 3, I have gone with Michael Alaratoa. He will be the captain of the side, I predict, and that is what I've gone with for the front row. Now, looking through at the locks, I was going to have Samuel Slade in there, but I believe he got injured in the last match, and he is actually the only player in the Samoan lineup that I've left out due to knowing that he is going to be injured. So he is not there at number 4. Instead, I've given it to Michael Curry, giving him the opportunity. Now, he can play lock or flanker, so I feel like he's a pretty versatile player to have in that starting lineup. And then number 5, I've gone with Chris Vui. He's been looking very strong recently for Samoa, so I had to find somewhere for him, and definitely with Samuel Slade out, if he's out that is, that's why Chris Vui gets the start. Now, looking through at my loose forward trio, I've had a little bit of a reshuffle here because we know how many dangerous open side flankers that Samoa have, but it's whether or not they've got that dangerous 6 to go alongside it. Theo McFarlane filled in that role pretty well last week, but instead at number 6, I've actually gone Alamanda Matanga. Number 7, I've given it to Jack Lamb. He was pretty strong in that match up against Tonga. And then number 8, I have gone with Jordan Taufua. Now, he only recently returned to the side, but he looked nowhere near out of place in that matchup up against the Tongans. Now, the thing is, Samoa started relatively slow in that contest, so they'll certainly be trying to up the tempo. And Jordan Taufua is one of the players who might be able to do that. But now, looking through at the backline that I have decided to go with for my Samoan prediction, number 9, I've given it to Eritara Enori. Now, last week it was Jonathan Tamatine, but I've actually given him the spot on the bench just to try and add a little bit more of a late impact. Very accurate passer in Eritara Enori, so that is why I've given him that number 9 role. And then number 10, same as last week, I think AJ Alatimu will get the opportunity to start this match at fly half. Now, using the kicking tee will be something that Samoa definitely utilise in this game up against Fiji. You cannot afford to leave points out there on the park. And AJ Alatimu, I think, will be able to add more than likely over 75% of the kicks that he does get to take throughout this contest. On the left wing, a player who's really come onto the international scene this year for Samoa, Nigel Awong. Now, we've seen him a few times for the Blues in the past, but he has now just shown how much class he's got at international level. And the sad thing is, because he plays for the Blues, he doesn't get many opportunities. You look through at that Blues backline for who they could play on the wing. You've got Caleb Clark, Mark Talia, AJ Lamb, the list goes on. And Nigel Wong, he's certainly got the class of some of those players. He just doesn't really have that well-known name behind him to get him higher up the rankings in the selection status. But I am glad that he's getting so many opportunities for Samoa here, and I hope that this game will be no different and he does get another crack. And now looking through at the centres I have predicted, speaking of the Auckland region, Tamua Manu is the number 12 that I think they will go with. I think they're stacked for options really in that Samoan backline, and any of the combinations that they decide to go with in this contest could be quite effective. But I believe Tamua Manu will get number 12, and then number 13, I've given it to Naria Famai. And the reason I've done that is those two worked pretty well together last week, and it seems like it might be the smartest option for Samoa to go with. Number 14, recently returning from the MLR, and also he does play for Manawatu in the Bunnings NPC, which is just around the corner for getting back underway. It is Ed Fidel, who I have got at number 14, and then the last man in the starting lineup. He did have a little bit of an injury late in last week's game up against Tonga, but I believe Danny Tuala will be match fit. If not, I think more than likely they'll go with the Hawke's Bay representative in Loragi Vizinier. But if Danny Tuala is match fit, I think he is going to be the fullback. He was very good under the high ball, taking the marks anytime there was pressure on him in the back. Up against Tonga, he seemed to be able to handle it. Yes, Tonga got off to a very good start, but once those guys in the back started really finding their feet, it was incredibly difficult for Tonga to add any more points on the board. So Danny Tuala, he is my starting fullback, and that is the starting lineup I am predicting for the Samoans. Now we move on to the bench, just a little bit trickier to try and pick who will be coming off the bench for Samoa. They've got so many great options. For the front row, I've gone Seilala Lam, number 17, Andrew Tuala, who did get his debut last week for Samoa in that starting lineup, so I've actually rotated him and Aki Sioli round again. And then at number 18, I did go Kalolo Tuiloma. The thing with Samoa is they are blessed at number 3. They've got Michael Alatoa as the captain. They've got Kalolo Tuiloma, who is an absolute beast when he comes off the bench. And then even without those two, you've still got a few other very good tight heads just around the corner, which is why at the World Cup they are really going to struggle with the selection process, because I could probably think of about 4 or 5 of those Samoan tight head props could find themselves in that starting lineup or reserves. Looking through now, number 19, I've gone Theo McFarland, as he is going to be my lock replacement. That is if Samuel Slade, of course, isn't available. Number 20, I've gone Henry Time Stowers. He played brilliantly for Moana Pacifica throughout Super Rugby Pacific, and he could certainly be in the starting lineup as well. He might take 6 rather than Alamanda Matangi. Could slot into 7. Maybe they rest Jordan Taufua and give Henry Stowers the opportunity at 8. But either way, I believe he's going to sneak his way in somewhere into the side, even if it does mean coming off the bench for the later parts of this contest up against Fiji. Number 21, I mentioned him a little bit earlier on. I have gone Jonathan Tamatene, who really brings that excitement into Moana Pacifica, but also when he was playing for the Hurricanes, he was one to watch out for, and we knew he would hopefully find himself in an international kit eventually, which he has managed to do and has looked pretty decent for Samoa. He did actually play in the matches last year up against Tonga for the Rugby World Cup qualifying, and him going head-to-head with Sonotane Takalua, he did hold his own in that regard. Then number 22, I have gone Rodney Iona. I needed some fly half cover in my lineup, and I think that is exactly why they will have Rodney Iona. The other option is maybe D'Angelo Leula, but either way, I think one of those two is going to be there, so I went with Rodney Iona, and that will give AJ Alatimu a little bit less pressure on himself, which is always handy for a fly half in such a big game. And then number 23, to close out my side, I have got Henry Teifu, another player who represents Moana Pacifica. Got Henry Teifu in there, and more than likely, he will probably replace one of the centres. Either they go with Tamua Manu or Norea Fomai making his way off the field before the end of this contest. But that is my lineup prediction. Do let me know your predictions for Samoa's lineup in this important fixture up against Fiji in the comments down below. And if this is a regular series that you would like to see for Samoa's games in the future, do let me know in the comments as well. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also be sure to stick around for our live commentary that we do of the fixture when it is going live 3:30 PM on Saturday afternoon. But thank you all very much, and I will see you all for the next one.